Welcome back to Geek Show Arcade.
Hey.
Oh,
Hey.
yeah.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Indeed. We're down one.
Yes, it is.
We're down one Lando, but we're up one Squinky. This is Geek Show Arcade, where we talk about video games and video game related things.
It's a net gain right there.
Take that, Lando. Jeez. All right. Well, we'll start off introducing the panelists. He's got a zinger or two for old Lando, who's not here to defend himself.
That's how I like it. That's just how I like it. The more defenseless, the better. Yeah, catch me here. Or, I mean, on X. Nope. Techno
Come on now.
X. I call it X. Is it not? But should I still say Twitter?
You
Are we
don't
still
post
standing?
anything, though. Why would you follow someone who doesn't post ever?
Because you can see my profile picture.
I'm
There
sure
you
that's
go.
smashing.
It's
That's
a
worth it.
little context. I have a sweatband on, and I'm holding a fly swatter.
Now I don't need to see it.
No, you gotta
I can
go
see it
that.
in my head.
You gotta go see that though. Like 20 people just went what, and just went and looked me up. They're not going to subscribe, but you can.
But they saw the pic.
at Technoan. You go.
Yep.
You go do you.
All right, it's Jaren.
Hey, I'm Jaren. You could find me on Geek Show Help Desk also.
Ta-da. Hey, it's Uncle Squinky.
Yep, it's Uncle Squinky. You can find me on Facebook, where I post pictures of food or whatever I happen to shoot in front of my camera. And we also have a host.
That's me, Quad T. Check me out on Twitter at Quad T Tony, or on any and all of the Geek Show podcasts this week. I made it onto Star Trek, or
You got another
the Space Show again. Yep.
Again? Oh
Yep.
man.
Ooh, check you
We
out.
talked about 5 really good episodes of Star Trek
I
Next
think
Generation.
are you getting to be a regular over there?
It might happen. I don't know. I don't know.
you-
I mean, any
I think-
excuse to scratch the Star Trek itch.
I think the through line between a lot of the Geek Show stuff is our man Tony here.
sometimes.
The glue. If I'm vanilla, you're glue, my guy.
The glue that makes the vanilla gross.
The glue that keeps the Geek Show stuff together.
All right. Emails? Do we have any of those?
Yeah, we got a couple.
Am I allowed to talk in these ones?
Yes. We have less
Yay.
topics this episode.
Yep. Owen, let your freak flag fly. man.
Yes.
No, that's too far. We're not allowing that. We don't want to have to censor things for YouTube, and we still want to be able to be monetized for the 32 people that watch. That's like a 7-cent uptick in our revenue. So
And we got that. We need that 7 cents. Got a quick email from Argo Spartan. Took Jaren's advice and purchased Mini Shoot Adventure on Steam, and I highly
nice.
recommend it. Been fun to play on my Steam Deck. Hope others check it out. Have a good one, my fellow geeks. Argo Spartan. That game is incredible. I beat it, and I'm doing another run through on the hardest difficulty. Got my
Is it
son playing it.
New Game Plus run through, or
No, they
start
don't have
to-
New Game Plus,
Oh,
unfortunately.
Dang, I love.
But
New
it's
Game
okay. I'm
Plus.
still loving it.
That's good.
Yep.
You doing that on your ally?
Yes.
Nice.
Yep. Whatever handheld is around me.
Owen, did you
I
play
play
with yours yet?
I did. I got
And?
it out, and I downloaded.
Downloaded a few games,
one
then
game.
went to bed.
I downloaded one game. I
Halo?
really did. Nope. I'm afraid to try that with the joysticks so far apart. But I'm brain farting on the name. I was trying to give my brain some time to figure it out, but I can't do it. What's that one that's kind of like the hand drawn art? Gosh dang it, can't remember. It's an RPG.
Octopath
Persona?
Traveler?
Octopath Traveler. Oh,
There it is.
okay.
Octopath Traveler 2.
Nice.
It's fantastic. Tell you what, it's fantastic. I think I might finish Baldur's Gate on it.
Oh yeah, dude, it's great for that.
I think I'm going to do that.
I mean, you'll have to crank the settings down because it's a much weaker GPU than your PC, but it's still doable for sure, and you'll have a good time with it. All right, next email.
Got an email from Snake. He says, "Hello, arcade gents and king of the IT department of UVU, breaker of IT ignorance, and a father of Geek Show Arcade and Geek Show Help Desk. Lambo. Why was Lambo included twice and me not once?
He's not even here to.
I know.
Wait,
Why did
what
you
was
read
I,
this
what
one?
was I in that one? Was I in
breaker
there?
of IT ignorance, I'm assuming.
Oh, I
think
like
he
that
was
one.
talking about Lando the whole time.
I think he gave all
Yeah.
of those adaptations to Lando.
I think this is Lando who
What?
wrote this in.
I think
Lambo's
Lando
not
wrote
the
this.
father of Geekshow Arcade and Geekshow Help Desk, though?
Oh, that's true. That's me.
Oh, that
Yeah.
gives it away. I'm gonna take the breaking one, the breaker of ignorance.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm none
that
of
feels
them.
good. Yeah,
Or
you're
something.
not.
And Jaren.
And Jaren. He says, my Xbox Elite Series 2 controller finally arrived. Check it out. Thanks again for helping me out.
Nice.
Want to share my screen, Tony?
Sure.
Yeah.
I
here we
think
go.
I think he was talking about Jaren. I don't think I got mentioned.
You
Jaren,
gonna
if
share
anybody,
your screen, Jaren?
Oh, I have to initiate
Yeah,
that?
you have to share your screen, you dingus.
if
I know how to do
anybody-
things.
If anybody's getting rid of ignorance, it's Jaren.
No, I think Jaren's the breaker now.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, this is that Elite controller where it's like maroon with gray and orange.
Oh,
Good.
that looks cool.
Yeah,
I
we helped
really
him
like
pick the
that.
colors out, huh?
Good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Or choose
really
the
like
colors that he wanted,
that
yeah.
the orange top.
That turned out good looking.
Yeah.
The shoulder
I-
paddles look great.
I likes it.
Make sure you go stop by our YouTube channel so you can see this controller in the arcade episode this week. That turned out real nice.
I do like the color options for Xbox controllers. That's sweet. All right, one last email. Did someone say Half-Life 3? Hello, hosts of Geek Show Arcade. Have you heard of the latest Half-Life game leak? It was accidentally leaked from a voice actor's online resume, which he links to.
Something like
What do you
that.
guys think? Will we get a Half-Life game soon? Can't believe
No.
Half-Life 2 turns 20 this year. I still have my pre-order shirt. Oh, I picked up my first OLED gaming monitor, the Dell QD OLED 4K 32-inch display, and it's
Oh,
amazing.
Baby.
The
yeah.
curve is barely noticeable. I've been enjoying a game called Ori and the Will of the Wisps to highlight,
great
pun intended, the peak brightness and blacks the monitor can offer. Now waiting for a GeForce 5000 series to upgrade from my 3080 Ti to get better FPS for more demanding games. Two questions for you.
guy,
One,
yeah.
what are your must-experience games for new OLED gamer owners? Two, what are you hoping to see from a GeForce 5000 series flagship? The same gains the 4090 had over the 3000 generation? Anyway, still love the show since G-Spot episode 1. Wow, keep up the great work. Best, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
So first of all, the Half-Life 3 leak, that's totally legit. I'm a believer. It's happening. Booyah.
I think it's happening, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon.
I love that it was a voice actor that did it because they've been catching some shade, like the performers, like not getting credited. by
I don't think
Nintendo
it's
and stuff.
Half-Life 3 per se. It's probably something more akin to like Half-Life Alyx, where
It could
it's
be kind of a spin-off, more
yeah,
of a
like
spin-off.
a spin-off.
But is it going to star Gordon Freeman? Like, is it going to be about Gordon Freeman?
No way.
Then okay, it doesn't count. Then
Can
the
it be
next
a Half-Life game?
If it's going to be a Half-Life game, it needs to be with
Half-Life
Gordon
Alyx.
Freeman.
It's a Half-Life game.
It
the best
is.
Half-Life game ever made.
That's not true. But
You've
it is.
never played it. How would you know?
I played half of it.
Yeah.
Half-Life? Would that be a quarter life? Just doing some quick
quarter
math
life
there.
worth, yes. But they need to keep going on Gordon Freeman's story. Come on,
Yeah,
he is
someday.
he's the OG.
Do you know how much pressure they have for that, though?
Immense. I mean, like
It's incredible pressure. They have to nail it, or
this is
it's not going to go well for them.
the Marinara Trench doesn't have as much pressure as Valve does for Half-Life 3. Yes, I know it's Marianas. I just like saying Marinara.
You know, I have another
Marinara.
Valve. I got a Valve story today
Nice.
about their games.
Anyway, his question.
Yeah, what was his other question?
What are your must-experience games for new OLED gamer owners? I was going to suggest Ori and the Will of the Wisps, actually. You've nailed it. That is like a great HDR game.
I got two. Doom Eternal has really good HDR and really good everything in general. Man, I just beat that. I beat that the other day. A couple
Played
weeks
through that
ago.
again?
Not again. I picked it up finally and finished it.
Oh.
But I ended up getting to the last level and thinking, I want to go back and get all the goodies. So I went back and I replayed every level like 3 times to get all the secrets. And it was totally worth it. Awesome. And then the other one that I would say is really good HDR is probably Cyberpunk 2077 because it has such cool neon highlights on everything in the cyberpunk world. It looks really good.
Of course, you'd pick that.
Darn right I would.
Alan Wake
Alan
2.
Wake has, I was gonna say Alan Wake 2 has good HDR.
Yeah, a lot of dark scenes in that game mixed with brightness
So
on
that's the
occasion.
thing. Yeah, like with Alan Wake 2, you're getting the contrast of HDR highlighted between the darks and the lights. With Cyberpunk, you get a little bit of that, but you get more of the color the HDR is known for, because your color bandwidth is so much larger with HDR than SDR. So, two different things, but still cool.
Yep. And then what are our hopes for the 5000 series?
Every leak I've read has been pretty consistent that it'll probably be about as big of a jump over the 4090 as the 4090 was over the 3090.
I hope it still fits in my case without a stand, needing a stand.
It's gonna need
That's
its
what I
own
hope.
case.
That's my hope.
Well, you
I'm
can make
hoping
a
that-
stand real easy. You know, people with 3D printers. So.
That's true. That's true. I know a couple guys.
I'm expecting probably, well, okay, I'm hoping for a 40% increase. I'm expecting a 30% increase.
Really?
Yeah.
At what point did they
4090
just start
is so
shoving more?
overpowered, though.
Yeah. At what point did they just start adding more? Adding more of the same inside, like Intel did. Like, not.
Oh, they do that every generation now. They like add 30% more CUDA cores.
Right.
But the way the GPUs process information, it's all based on parallelization. And so you put more CUDA cores on there and it just uses them, It's not like it.
Does that mean they could have put those CUDA cores on there initially?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But this was a 10-year.
It's a
But
cost
this is a 10-year rollout. Yeah.
and they could have done more, but it would have made the GPU cost more to produce. So at some point you got to decide what's the most the market is willing to bear for this level of
About tree fitty.
Performance.
So, Jaren, would you agree or disagree with those 30 and 40?
Yeah, probably. But at this point, you need a 4K 240 hertz monitor to take advantage of a theoretical 5090.
That's what we have now on the market.
Right, and that's what
That's what he has.
That's what he has, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I have a 120, so if I'm getting a 5090, I'm also spending on a new
another-
monitor too.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, all the upgrades.
Yeah, except a 42-inch 4K 240 doesn't exist yet. Only 32
Not yet.
inches.
Not yet. That I think that might actually be a limiting factor for me, is until I can get the monitor I want to run it. I don't think I'm going to be day one on the 5090.
Bull crap. NVIDIA will send you a special link like last time.
If they do, then of course I'm going to bite.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can't dangle that in front of me. But if I don't
and
have
it's-
that, then
And it's going to
might.
be, Tony, we
Yeah.
have a new video card.
You have a what?
video
Here's my
card.
Here's my wallet.
Where's your credit card, sir?
Tony, we're allowing you to buy one before Jaren. That's all they have to say. They don't have to say other people. They just have to say before Jaren.
That's also a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we'll see. All right. Thanks for writing in and listening forever.
Yeah,
Peter?
episode
Did I
1.
get it
huh?
right?
That's
Peter?
awesome.
Was it Peter?
Yeah, it's Peter.
Jaren, what
I
are you
think
doing,
so.
bud?
I closed the email, and so I'm not able to confirm if it's Peter or not.
If it's not Peter, it's Peter now. Thanks, Peter.
I'll reopen it. Fine.
Was there any more emails, or was that the last one?
That was the last one. And indeed, it's Peter. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, I got one.
Way to
All
go,
right.
Pete.
We got some interesting stories here. Couple of neat things happening this week in the old video game sector. This is the one I'm probably the most excited for. It is an announcement for a new game coming from a lot of the guys from the old Arkane Studios.
This is a new first-person action RPG, and it has Arkane DNA because it's led by a former Arkane leader from the studio. So that's awesome.
I love the Arkane first-person games.
Founder of Arkane Studios and co-creator of Dishonored and Prey.
Yeah.
Both incredible franchises. Well,
Yeah.
franchise for Dishonored, game for Prey.
Yeah.
Anyway, they've already released a game already. It's the RPG Weird West, the one that I thought was Evil West that I accidentally bought years ago.
I remember that. That was funny.
Yeah. It's a solid game. So yeah, just not my cup of tea.
I have.
But
that one.
anyway,
I should
this
give it a shot.
this new game is it's first person shooter, so a little bit of what he used to do. But it's kind of steampunky, and it kind of has similar art to other Arkane stuff, and
Oh yeah,
it looks good.
this looks awesome.
Yeah, they don't have a publisher yet, and they're saying that it'll be an alpha next year, so we probably wouldn't see it until at least 2026.
Yeah, you're probably right. All they had to say right here was this line right here: a first-person action RPG set in a retro sci-fi universe. Sold.
Tony's in.
I'm in. The guys that did Dishonored and Prey and that setting. Yep.
Yeah,
Nothing else needed. I'm in.
sounds like it will be great.
Very exciting. All right. Let's talk about the lack of the Switch 2.
Somebody put that under my show notes, and I
Did
have
you
no
not
idea.
put it there?
I have no idea who did that.
Did you
I
read
feel
it?
like I did not.
Okay, we'll come back. We'll come back to that
We'll
one if you want to brush up on it.
I have no idea if you guys have read about the Switch 2 yet. This is a story from Kotaku.
He's
But
going for it. It sounds like.
I'll just
we
jump
go.
right in. Here's
You
the
want me to time
question.
him?
Here's the question that everybody is asking. Jaren is asking. Tony's asking. Even when they're being mean. When is Switch 2? When?
Never, apparently.
It's now in
Freaking
its
never.
eighth year. The current handheld is a
This
little bit
is-
long in the tooth.
It's the longest Nintendo's
believe
ever
that?
gone in between consoles at this point.
So no developer in this article, Ethan gotcha. He says no developer I've spoken to expects it to be launching this financial year. This is from Chris. This is a better name, Christopher Dring. He was on a GI microcast. In fact, they've been told not to expect it in its current financial year.
Gastrointestinal microcast?
It says GI
Good times.
GI microcast. Maybe it was like a gastrology class that he got. Anyway. So yeah, they at one point, there was rumors that they were gonna release the Switch 2 in 2024.
Yeah,
and
fall of 2024.
They
That got
ultimately decided
pushed.
to delay that new hardware to 2025. Do you think that was just because it got leaked and whatever? Remember how it got the patents
No.
got leaked or whatever?
I'm sure. I think it's a combination of two things. I think it is they are still selling
They're
Switches
still selling
pretty
them.
good, and
Yeah.
they're still putting out games that people want to play on it.
Yeah,
And-
the Zelda games are still bringing in sales and buying consoles,
Yep.
buying their Switch.
And B, I think a factor is as well that Nintendo is probably pretty confident that it's going to be a winner, and the longer they push it off, the more units they can produce and have in the warehouse,
Yeah.
so they can fulfill demand.
and C, more games will be available day one.
That too, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the truth of the matter is there's so much out there to play right now. As long as you own something as well as your Switch, there's tons of games to play,
And they don't
even
need
if
to-
you just
they
even
don't-
if you just own a Switch, they're
Yeah.
still putting out games for it like
and-
clockwork.
And Nintendo
know?
doesn't compete in the same way
No.
with other consoles because of their IP, right?
Yep.
Like you wait for Zelda on Nintendo because you have to, right?
Yep.
That's not going multiple places. And so they know that because they have the IP, once the consoles come, they sell themselves, right? Because people want to play those. So they're like, yeah, let's delay this again. Like we're only competing with ourselves right
Yep.
now because of the IP they own.
And they make a lot less money selling a console than they do selling a game.
Absolutely,
Percentage
yep.
wise.
And so if they're making the same money selling the game, they're like, well, let's, our game sales are lowering. Let's put out the new hardware so everybody has to rebuy it because we're not going to do backwards compatibility.
Yeah, they're probably apprehensive because new hardware launches they have an on and off cycle here
Yeah.
lately. Wii U, it's not like GameCube was bad, but it didn't sell
it just
as
didn't
well.
sell as big. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think as long as they put backwards compatibility into the Switch 2, which everything I've read rumor wise says they're going to, as long as they have good backwards compatibility and the games feel new enough, like a new generation of games, this thing's going to sell as much as it did with the Switch One. Guarantee.
Just hope they don't
because-
overthink it like they did with the Wii U.
Yeah.
Dude, this one's got to be the one that Metroid Prime comes out on, though, right? Like, this has to be it.
No, Prime is confirmed for the regular Switch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, the next. Oh. Dang,
But-
so-
I erroneously said that footage had to be from the Switch too, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
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 been analyzed and shown that the Switch
Yeah.
is capable of doing what they showed. So,
dang.
but that being said, I bet you that the Switch 2 will run it better than the Switch 1.
You're going for it, right?
yeah.
You know,
You think they'll keep the same like cartridge, and like let you use cartridges from the Switch?
absolutely, yeah. That was like if you look at their. Oh, here's another thing to look at. If you look at their handheld history, they actually have a very good track record of their handheld history of backwards compatibility.
Yeah, that's true.
Even when they switched from the Game Boy Advance to the DS, the DS had a slot for DS games and a separate slot for Game Boy Advance games, if I remember correctly. Didn't it? I swear it did.
The
Pretty
Game Boy
sure.
Advance?
I'm just gonna leave you hanging. I don't know.
We'll have to look it up, but yeah, we'll see. I'm hoping to see the Switch 2 in the first half of 2025, because I think their fiscal year. I think I read somewhere Nintendo's fiscal year ends Q1 of the year, so it would be March. So it could
That blew my
could
mind
happen in
That blew my
May or
mind when
something.
when I found out companies could just set that.
Yeah, not have it be the calendar year.
Yeah,
Same. I
there's
was like, what do you mean fiscal year? What is this?
These are alternative facts. It's the new
So.
reality.
All right, let us do a review. We have a co-review here. New video game controller. You remember last year, Jaron and I reviewed the Vader 3 Pro from FlyDigi. I'm holding one up right here, and it's a great controller, especially considering the price. You can sometimes find it for around $50. Well, as things go, a new version has been released, and it is the FlyDigi Vader 4 Pro.
Oh, I like that. Looks so much better.
And I got
You got one
for-
too, Squink?
I got one for Squink for his 60th birthday, because he's always been saying, I have a controller, but it hurts my hands. And I said, well, what controller do you have that hurts your hands? Hold that thing up.
Was it the Logitech from
Ta-da-da.
that submarine that imploded? Oh my goodness! Is that the Microsoft Sidewinder?
Microsoft Sidewinder.
You
That's
hear-
the last controller he's had.
Are you kidding me? There's not even a joystick on that.
No joystick.
It's USB at least. not
Came
serial
out
port.
in what? You looked it up. When did it come out originally?
Came out in 95
1995. So Kevin's going from a Microsoft Sidewinder.
that I haven't used in years because it hurts my wrists.
See, there you go. To a FlyDigi 4 Vader 4 Pro, and so his perspective is quite different than my perspective going from the Vader 3 Pro. I want to hear Kevin's perspective first on this controller and what he thinks of it.
So when I come home from the cruise, it's waiting in my mailbox. So that was part of unpacking and everything.
Huzzah.
So I charged it up, and I grabbed it, and it's like, wow, that feels really good.
That's comfy, isn't it?
That is, and I like the fact that the joysticks aren't both up in the corners.
Yep. Offset
Okay.
joysticks are the way to go, man.
Yeah. So I've played a little bit. My friend down in Vegas, Dave, has, he's got a PS4 and a whatever else, an Xbox. And I've used his controllers a few times on his Xbox controllers. And it's like, well, they're okay, but they're not great. And you're sitting there playing on the Xbox, and I don't have any consoles. I just have my PC, so it's not been anything that I really, looked at too much, because my experience with gamepads just wasn't that great. So Tony offered to send me one of those, and he did, and it's fantastic. And so I've let's see, we got that Sunday afternoon,
Today's Tuesday.
and today is Tuesday, and
Tuesday
for the last
evening.
3 hours I haven't played anything, and I've got like 12 hours in on Forza 5,
Horizon 5.
Forza Horizon 5. And I've got about a half hour in on the Hot Wheels game that Tony suggested that I play with. And my hands feel fine, my wrist feels fine. It's a great way to control things. I like the force feedback or whatever it is they call it. The joysticks are adjustable, apparently. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
So that's a big perk over the Vader 3 Pro. If you look, let me zoom in on this here on mine. If you look here, they have these rings around the joystick,
That's neat.
and they turn.
And you can adjust the tension on the joysticks.
That's the coolest tension adjuster I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's easy. And the one thing that I kind of wish it did was I wish it clicked.
And also on the back,
But it's
you
just a
have these
smooth
things
scroll.
right here, which
Yep.
make the triggers go from having play to just being right there.
A button.
To turn them into a button. So and you can do that on the fly, which
So
is
it's not
pretty
even
cool.
it's not even like a lot of the controllers where they have adjustable throw on the triggers, where it just feels like it hits a stop instead of going down all the way. This is actually
Like a
a
mechanical.
button, a click, like it turns into a straight up button. Now the Vader
Yeah.
3 Pro had that as well, and it feels like, in my experience, they kept the same mechanism, which is totally fine because it's a great mechanism. That's the Vader 3. That's the Vader 4. They sound the same. So, yeah.
But yeah, it gets for the 10 or so hours of play that I have and having zero experience lately with game pads, it gets, I'm going to say 9.5 out of 10.
Nice.
And
Comes with a dongle. So it's wireless or wired.
so there are a couple of things that that are little niggles about the whole thing. So for instance, when I'm driving and I'm using this to go, left to right, my thumb is big enough that it sometimes falls down onto the D-pad. And when it does that, it puts you into photo mode in Forza.
Yep.
Yep. Same
So-
here. I experienced
so-
that, and it sucks.
So it gets you out of, and it happens in the middle of a turn because that's when you're moving the stick, right? So it
Right.
happens in inopportune times. It'd be nice if they had a way to deactivate the D-pad, for instance, when you're not using it.
There's a way.
There's a way to do that.
Actually. If so, the software that you can download from FlyDigi, you can completely customize every button input, and if you want to, you can create different profiles for different
Different
games.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it activates automatically when you start the game up, but you can just change the profile on the controller when you start the game up. And you can do one where maybe the D-pad, those two directions on the D-pad don't do anything.
But the thing
So
is,
it would
there
fix that.
in that particular game, there are some things that you use the D-pad for, but not while you're actually driving.
Yeah. Another option is
So-
you could get a cap or something like a Game Freak's cap that extends the height of the of it, so that. But I guess if it slips off, it's still going to slip off. I don't know.
Yeah.
They have different
Well,
grippings too.
it doesn't slip off so much as, I don't know if I can see this, but my finger's kind of fat, and when I'm holding it,
Uh-huh.
when I'm holding it, and I turn, my thumb actually goes over the button.
Oh,
and then
I
it,
see.
Then it presses it,
Yeah. Okay.
and it's awfully
maybe-
hard to get that on camera. But
Maybe making the thumbstick taller would solve that, actually. So something to think about. There's some things.
or
we can play
maybe printing a cap to go over that D-pad might be a way to go too.
with. Yeah, maybe an option like that. Well, there you go. From a Sidewinder to a FlyDigi Vader Pro 4 Pro, you give it a 9.5 out of 10.
So I was using that Sidewinder for a very old Tony Hawk game, and for EA Sports hockey.
Oh yeah.
Those are the two things I would use it for. So that was, I'm guessing, back in the mid to late 90s,
Yep.
maybe early 2000s ish. But yeah, and then it would give my carpal tunnel type feels to my wrist. So that's why I stopped using it. But yeah, thank you for that. It's fantastic. It's going to
Yeah, you
get
bet.
the
Happy
snot
birthday.
used out of it. And I'm going to print. I saw a model the other day that you could print to go over this thing right here.
Over the slots for the
Yeah. I don't know what those slots are for.
You can buy an attachment that allows you to hook your phone onto it. So if you want to play it Bluetooth, play it
Yeah,
via
because
Bluetooth
it
on your
does
phone.
it does have Bluetooth right here. There's a switch.
Yeah, it sports
that gives
Bluetooth,
you,
the dongle, and the cable.
That's
So-
versatile.
It is,
Yep.
and it seems to be very well made. I'm not the nicest person to controlling devices.
It's solidly built. I think it
Yeah.
feels higher build quality than the Vader 3 easily. And a lot of that has to do with they chose different textures for the plastic on the underside and things like that.
Oh, that was my main complaint of the 3.
Yeah, this feels. I'll bring this to work tomorrow. You can give it a feel, as long as you don't rub your crotch on it.
Cup of feel. Yeah.
But yeah, I would say, it's worth upgrading from the Vader 3 Pro, in my opinion. The tensioner mechanisms for the sticks are really cool. The feel of it in general is just a more premium feeling controller. And everything that I liked about the Vader 3 Pro is still there. The mechanical buttons, still sound mechanically and feel mechanical. The D-pad has been improved. The button, the switches they use on the D-pad. This is the 3. This is the 4.
What do you do with your old controller now?
I'll sell you mine, Owen. $20.
No, I don't want it.
He wants the new one.
I have one of these. I have one of these GameSirs.
Yours is GameSir.
Oh, you got a GameSir.
GameSir makes good controllers too.
Yeah.
The software is it's a little janky, but once you figure out how to get around the jank, you can make it do whatever you want. It's really cool. So I've set mine up that the two M1 and M3 on the bottom are my joystick clicks, so I don't have to push down on the joysticks anymore.
Oh, that's smart.
Yep. And then I have a profile for Elden Ring so that the M2 and the M4 are what switches through my potions. So I don't have to move my thumb onto the D-pad to switch my potions anymore. So yeah, it's fantastic. I also give it a 9. I give it a 9.5.
What do one of these set you back?
So you can find this one. I think it's not live on Amazon yet. I had to buy them through AliExpress, but they go live on Amazon at near the end of the month, near the end of August, and I want to say they're going to retail for about $85, somewhere around there. Not
For all
crazy
the features
expensive.
for the
Yeah,
features you're getting, it's pretty nuts.
that's the thing.
How much was it on AliExpress?
AliExpress, I think I found them for like $77, so pretty comparable price wise. But yeah, it's I actually, I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna say 9.5. I'm only docking a half a point because the application is janky to change the buttons around. But it's
Now,
the
does
same.
your old application work for this one? Because when
Yeah.
I was looking for software for this one,
You
I
might have
couldn't
got the-
find anything. I
You
could
might have
only
got the
find
wrong
3.
one because I logged into my old one and it asked me to update it, and then it had all the Vader 4 Pro
okay,
stuff in there.
Because
So,
when I was looking, I could just find the Vader 3 stuff.
yeah, the application's called FlyDigi Space Station.
Yeah.
So anyway, there you go. Solid recommendation on this controller for PC. It's fantastic. Let's see. Moving along. Oh, this is good news here. Doom is back, baby. Old Doom.
Yet again, how many ports has it had over the years of the
Doesn't
different
matter.
systems? And
Doesn't matter.
during QuakeCon this year, id/Bethesda/Microsoft, they announced enhanced versions of Doom, which includes Doom 2. So Doom 2, plus a bunch of other level packs in there. It has Sigil, which wasn't that made by John Romero?
John Romero, yeah. It's kind of
has
the
some-
unofficial sequel.
Yeah, has some new levels in there from Machine Games and Night Dive Studios. They've added online cross-platform deathmatch for up to 16 players. Newly updated soundtrack, which is awesome. Multi-threaded rendering, support up to 4K resolution. I don't think any platform out there today really needed the multi-threaded rendering, but that's cool.
But why not?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
If you can, why not?
Yep.
That's
So,
Doom's whole thing. If
the
you
cool
can,
thing
why
is,
not? Will
if
it
you're
Doom?
if you already own Doom on any modern platform like Steam or Switch or stuff like that, you are automatically get this new upgraded enhanced version. So
That's also cool.
awesome.
And if you don't own it, it's only $10
Yeah.
for the whole thing. So I found out I didn't actually own it on PC.
Are you serious?
Yeah, well, on
And
Steam.
you call yourself a fan?
I had it on. I think I have it on Epic Games or something. I can't remember what I played it on because I have already played through Doom and Doom 2 in the last couple of years. Oh, maybe I just played it on Game Pass. I can't remember. Anyway, but I was able to find it. They had it on sale during QuakeCon. I got a package with Doom, Doom 2, and I think Doom 64 for like $7. It was on sale. Totally worth
That's
it.
totally worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm probably gonna have to go through and play through it again. I mean, especially with the extra new levels. Doom is it's just a classic, man.
Played
If
at
you want-
120 FPS on the Ally.
If you want to look at some, or if you want to watch something that is it actually, or it just absolutely goes into every bit of depth you could ever think of with Doom, there is a video from a channel on YouTube, Action Button Games.
Yes. Action button.
Action Button. And he does, I think it's almost 2.5 hours of documentary on Doom. And it's not only is it fascinating, it's also funny. He's got really funny writing and delivery on that. Action Button. Check that out.
But funny Doom story. Doom came out when I lived in a really crappy apartment in Sparks back in the mid-90s. And we actually ran coax through the apartment to be able to hook up to play co-op play.
Coax? Not Ethernet?
No, coax.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it was and it was a black art to get the machines to talk to each other.
Oh, I'm sure.
it wasn't
Back in those days, 1993. Yeah.
was not very well. It was when you could get it to work, it worked great.
Yeah.
But if you didn't have the knowledge or experience to get your computer set exactly right and your buddy's computer set exactly right, you're talking a big old pain.
Not what you would call user friendly.
No. But once you get it working, it was fine.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Quick one here. Red Dead Redemption. Verified. Coming out for PC. It's going to happen. And you know how we found out about this?
Leak?
Sony leaked it again.
How
Sony
old
has
is
such
Red
a...
Dead Redemption? Is it? It's old now,
Yeah,
right?
Red Dead Redemption came out on PS3, Xbox 360. Right?
Yeah.
So
right.
they're bringing it out 2010, by the way. They're bringing it out for PC, and it was announced on accident by Sony, which Sony has a terrible track record of doing stuff like this.
Why put Sendall next to? Why put Send next to Sendall?
Well, this is the one that
Poor
doesn't
design.
even it doesn't even make any sense because they posted it as this remaster coming out for PS. There was supposed to be saying the game of the year edition for PS4 or something like that. And they posted all the PC information for the game coming out on PC on the PlayStation Store.
Awesome.
It's like, how did you guys mess that up?
Classic.
Doesn't make any sense. But yeah, they posted it on the PlayStation Store that it is coming to coming to PC with PC-specific enhancements, including support for increased resolutions and frame rates, multiple displays, and other accessories, plus spatial surround sound. That's all put in there. And it will include all of the content from the Game of the Year edition, which I think means it should have the zombie expansion as well.
Oh, all right, all right.
So almost 20 years later, or however long it was, 15 years later.
15 years later, we're getting a PC port. So anyway, yeah, it's I just thought it was really classic
They
Sony.
blew their own whistle.
Yep.
Who leaked
exactly.
this? It's like a dog
Oh.
chasing its own tail,
Oh, we did.
you know, or biting its own foot, being like, "Who is attacking?" Oh, it's me. Oh.
And speaking of PC things not working out so great for PlayStation, PSVR 2, the adapter is out now.
And the adapter is okay-ish. The problem is the controllers. They connect over Bluetooth, but people are having many problems getting the adapters to reliably connect to your computer. Yes, Tony?
Oh, this is just more my hand going, huh.
Oh,
I don't have a question.
It was
I
I'm
could
going
see
to
how-
insert my comment here.
I could see
hand.
why you would see that, why you would
Yeah,
think that,
yeah.
yes. That was my fault.
Anyway, one of the controllers seems to always connect fine, but then the other, it just loses its tracking consistently. And this Verge article, the author tried to get it to work for over 8 hours, never got it to work, gave up.
Oof.
But he got an article out of it.
Yeah, he got an article
he
out
got
of it.
content.
Yep. And Sony has recommended adapters, specific USB Bluetooth adapters that you would think should work for the PSVR 2. But on Sony's support site, they say they cannot guarantee that it operates with the PSVR 2.
Unreal.
So they
ha-
suggest it, but then they say they
it
don't.
might not work anyway, though.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah.
buyer
This is
beware.
the best
Caveat
one.
emptor.
This is the best one, but we
Yeah.
still aren't guaranteeing anything.
So some amateur sleuthing on Reddit by myself. One of the adapters they recommend, it's a TP-Link UB500. That one doesn't seem to work well at all. They also recommended an Asus one, and that one seems to have a little bit more luck. So if you're listening to this, try an Asus Bluetooth USB key. I've seen that a full-on PCI networking card.
It takes up a PCI slot, though.
It takes up a PCI slot. Those seem to be working okay, but that's just anecdotal evidence. Sony needs to fix this.
This is
Really?
I can't
What?
believe how bad they bungled this. First of all, why in the world do your controllers have to have a different connection over a different peripheral
Yeah.
than the box that you sell that's for connecting your system to the PC? And furthermore, why not just build that into the headset itself, since the headset already has your inside-out tracking cameras and everything built into it? The controllers should communicate with the headset just
Directly,
natively,
right? Yeah.
directly. And then fine, okay, fine. You're not going to do that. Okay, you're selling an adapter so you can use it with PC. Put the Bluetooth thing you need in the adapter in the box that you're selling.
The one that works. The one that you
for
guys have
this-
tested.
It
When I
might
say
be-
box, I mean
How
the
dare
adapter
you.
box itself, not like the product box. I mean, like, put it in the plastic box
Yeah.
that houses the other stuff, so it's all in one unit. You only buy one thing, and you're good to go.
It might be Windows issues, because if you already have Bluetooth in your PC and you connect a Bluetooth peripheral to your PC, like what's going to happen with the two different Bluetooth peripherals?
Like the two radios.
No,
Yeah, like in Windows, you know.
Oh, hang on a sec. Let me
It-
think for a minute. I swear I've connected multiple Bluetooth items to the same Windows computer at the same time.
So maybe their intentions were good, but their drivers suck currently. Maybe this can be fixed via software. I don't know.
I
No one
hope
knows at
so.
this point.
Wait,
well,
they
the-
didn't know there was already a Bluetooth thing in Windows?
The point I'm making is they shouldn't have to fix it because they shouldn't have done it this way. That's the point I'm making. But
Yeah, I don't
hope-
think they were ever considering supporting PC when they were initially building it.
That's
what it
wild.
seems like to me.
that would
Yeah.
make sense from the way it's been handled so far. That would make sense. Yeah.
And their
Right.
track record.
I mean,
Yeah.
who could have known that they would release awesome hardware for the PlayStation 5, stop supporting it, and then wonder why it's not selling very well?
And have it use a universal connector that
Yeah.
every PC has these days, and wonder, you think people would want to hook this up to their PC?
Yeah, seriously.
Settle down. Settle down.
I'm calm now. I'm calm.
I'm still going to get it though and try it. I think. I mean, I still could cancel it. We'll see.
We'll find out at some point. There we go. And then speaking of The Verge, you have an article here from The Verge, Owen.
I do. So, what was the game we were talking about earlier? Was it Half-Life?
With Valve.
With Valve. Here's
Half-Life.
here's another. So Valve's doing another game. You guys heard of it? Everybody else has.
Yeah,
People
Deadlock.
are playing it.
Yeah.
So Deadlock is being played. People are watching the user count go up, and they're like, "Hey, on Steam they could see the user count." They're like, "Oh, they must be putting out private keys or whatever."
Yeah, because it's
And
not out for the public yet.
It's still in beta. It's still in development.
Closed beta.
A closed beta, exactly. And so one of these writers from The Verge, he got, it's kind of so Valve is one of the companies out there that I want to say genuinely, but I can't tell if it's just marketing because I can't believe anything anymore. But they genuinely seem to be a little bit different in the way of their corporate values, right? Like,
Oh, they definitely are.
you see it. You see the way that what's his name?
They're a flat organization.
Yeah.
They've come out and said they run their business as a flat org. So there's basically everyone is at the same level, except Gabe. He's the CEO.
Right.
I mean,
Sounds like pandemonium.
it does, but it works for them for some reason.
And there's no such thing. There is still a C-suite. I've worked in orgs that call themselves flat. You still have to have.
There's still some structure.
The CEO is not communicating with every single employee in the company. They have middle management in there somewhere.
Right.
But they put out this game Deadlock, and this cheeky writer at The Verge.
You cheeky writer.
He, Valve sends out these closed betas and stuff like this, and they put out a notification. If you check my second link there, you can see what the notification is. I think it pops up and says it, but basically it says, this is still in beta. The art forms are, whatever. This is not the game.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress, and
it's a beta.
And don't share this with anything, Don't share this with anybody. That's what they say. It pops up and says,
early development build.
Early development build. Deadlock is still early in development with a lot of temporary art and experimental gameplay. Do not share anything about the game with anyone. That's what it pops up when you play. You don't sign an NDA. You don't make any type of verbal agreement. You don't have any click through, even a EULA or anything. And this writer at The Verge went ahead and did a whole breakdown of the game. I mean, like everything.
So instead of
pictures,
not telling anyone, he told everyone.
And he's getting a lot of shade on the internet. Basically, people are like, "This is why we can't have nice things," right? They're saying, like, this is why it's people like this that make it so that Valve will be more hesitant to push this kind of stuff out, right? Mm-hmm. Like saying, if we can't even trust these people, and the best part about this is that in the article, the guy mentions it. He's like, "Look, I've got this closed gameplay." He goes, "It's been nearly 5 years since Valve announced a truly new game, and counting. And Valve has not announced Deadlock. It's Hero Shooter, which they're saying is going to be at Overwatch, Dota 2, Team Fortress 2, and whatever
kind of mashup."
Yeah. And it says, "I'm not an NDA. I have signed no contracts. And I made no verbal agreements. And I haven't even clicked through a EULA. So here I go.
Do what I want."
So here we go. Earlier today, I received a no strings attached invite to play play Deadlock on Steam, and Steam claims the game is made by Valve. Anyway, and you jump in, and he's literally got like gameplay footage,
8-page breakdown.
No joke.
Works.
Like, he didn't just be like, "Hey, it's a fun game. I know I'm not supposed to talk about it," but he broke this down into everything. And at the very last, if you go to the very last, where he
paragraph.
updates his article, he goes, "Update August 12th. That was yesterday, as of this recording. Turns out Valve was not fine with me trying Deadlock with friends. I've been banned from matchmaking. Oh well, feel free to make fun of me in the comments." So they were just like, "Well, bye."
Well, the thing is I'm sure that the only way to get access to this stuff from companies like Valve that are really secretive is usually if you know a guy.
Yeah,
right. Someone who's a dev there,
the
or
Verge
a QA
is a
tester or something. So does
the Verge has got some social
it's got pull
leverage,
forever.
right? Like, yeah.
Or for sure, but But I don't think they weren't sending this out to, journalists. I
No.
think he got one because he knows someone who works
Yeah.
there, and someone trusted him
Yeah.
and said, "Hey, here's a little sneak peek behind the curtain on what we're working on."
I want you, and he is a journalist. So they're like, so when it does come out, you'll have a scoop, and you
Yeah,
can say
you'll-
you played it.
you'll
You
have
can
a-
say,
a
hey,
head
I've been
start
doing this,
or whatever,
for sure.
because you're my bud. And instead, he just takes the whole thing and blows it up.
Oh, he's just like, I'm quitting the Verge tomorrow anyway. So I want to get my paycheck for the number of views, right? Because it's view
my
driven payment,
gosh.
and he just totally went to town. The problem is with this is that this isn't just Valve watching the Verge. Other
Every gaming studio is seeing this go down.
everybody's gonna go, well, we're not giving anything to the Verge.
Yep.
Right? He didn't do this on behalf of his own self. He wrote this article on The Verge. He made that choice to
Yeah.
do this expose on this game and
Publish
and
it on a
break their
widely
honor-
known platform.
honor code. Yeah, if he'd have done this on a blog or on his own YouTube channel as a kind of a freelance whatever, okay. But he did this under The Verge's name, so The Verge has got a lot of a lot of splaining to do.
So the Verge made a decision when he submitted it to go ahead and publish.
They
it.
had to, right? They had
Yeah.
they had an editor that said, "Send
Let's
it."
go with it.
Yep.
And that's on them. I mean,
Yeah.
he's sketchy because he's sketchy, right?
Yeah.
That's just all there is
But
to
there
it.
was a check
But-
right there.
Yeah, but somebody
oh,
at the company made
however,
a decision.
Right here,
to
the guy
go with
that
it.
wrote it, Sean Hollister, is a senior editor and
Oh, so-
founding
I-
member
I-
of the Verge.
I disagree. They didn't sign an NDA.
That's true.
Like, the
Legally,
Forbes article has 3
Yeah.
points. They did not sign or
Yeah.
agree to an NDA.
Yep.
Did not
Yep.
make any sort of verbal agreement with Valve,
nope.
and you
It's
didn't even have
totally-
to click through a
No,
UI.
he's legally fine. It's the
No,
honor
that's the
code.
thing, yeah.
It's the honor code that they're talking about.
He's dishonorable.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the,
but from
it's
a legal
the-
perspective, he
Oh,
didn't
legal-
do anything
Yep.
illegal here.
I just
by
I
any
don't
stretch.
think
He's a reporter, though. Like
Yeah, and
reporters have a
reporters
duty
have
to
ethics.
report.
And,
Yeah,
and if it was a
but-
murder, I would agree with you. But
Yeah.
this is something
But
that is
he's not
given
going
access
against any
to.
agreement, though, so it's still
Well,
ethical.
it was an honor
no,
code.
here's-
It's
I don't think
the-
so.
hey,
Here's the problem.
I don't think it's
asked-
ethical.
The problem is, if we want to argue whether it's ethical or not, that's one thing. But here's the bigger problem. He absolutely just burned a bunch of bridges.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
With everyone in the gaming industry that does
Mm-hmm.
not look kindly upon this. And so, ethics aside,
Right.
he might have done himself a great disservice by thinking
Yeah.
he was getting
He
this
gave
scoop out
himself.
there.
He played it under the understanding that the people who were letting him play it wanted him to not do certain things, and he did those things regardless.
And it
And-
doesn't help.
10,000
and-
people playing it, though? It
and-
wasn't like a group of
And
20.
it's implied
You're
by accepting, by starting to play when they say don't do the following things.
It
It's
does
an
pop up
implied
there.
agreement.
Yeah.
It's not legal. It's not legal blinding. They can't sue him.
Out
But
of
if it's-
18,000 people,
So-
nobody's done an expose like this, though.
if
So,
it says
you know?
this is a new product that's under development, this is not what it's going to be, please don't tell anybody about it. Well, okay, you decide to play, you've agreed to not tell anybody about it, ethically speaking.
Yeah.
And he, by doing this, violated that agreement.
Yeah, it doesn't
And
help.
I'm not saying
it
it's
doesn't help that
legal.
he's a senior editor and co-founder. If this was a low-level guy, that whole there's an editor that approved this, but
Yeah.
with him being a
But he's
co-founder
senior,
and a
so-
senior editor,
He's
so
like,
he was
"I'm
just
rolling,
like,
I'm running
yeah.
with
So he approved it on himself. So there
yeah,
you go.
Exactly. He made
That's
the
what I
call
was
for
saying.
Verge as a company. Yeah,
And that decision is going to cost the company something.
exactly.
And if he stays in the industry, it's going to cost him something.
Oh, I don't think this will have enough blowback to,
You don't think they'll be like,
Really
It kind
affect
of
him
reminds me
that
of that
much,
Gizmodo article about the iPhone 4 that was found in a bar.
it's
Remember
similar.
that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
For sure.
Anyway,
So,
ruffling
And-
the feathers. He's catching a lot of shade on
Yeah,
the
oh,
on
yeah.
the interwebs
Gizmodo
right
had
now.
a lot of blowback from that.
that's true.
And like I said, I'm not saying that he broke any laws
Yeah.
or he's liable to be sued or anything, but it's going to make people in the industry
In the
look.
court of public opinion.
Yeah, and if you're a publisher later on, and this guy wants to do an article or whatever, you're going to see that name and go, oh, wait a minute, why do I know this name? Oh yeah, that's why I know
Isn't
this
this
name.
akin to like giving up your sources? Like That's an honor code too, right? There's no legally binding agreement that a journalist does with a source.
If a journalist wants other people to give
trust, it's about trust, right?
Exactly.
And the Constitution protects that reporter from giving his sources
right. True.
Under most circumstances.
Yeah.
Right. Now you may end up spending months in jail for contempt because you're not answering what the judge wants you to answer. But at the end of the day, I haven't seen a reporter that's been forced to give up sources. It's a big fight and it's a hill to climb.
But it's about trust, right? And I think that's what this is about.
And if you're an investigative reporter and you want people inside the Department of Defense to trust you, then you've got to deal with that the way you need to deal with that.
If Tony's right and this is a buddy that gave him that key,
I
think he's going to get another one?
Oh, no way.
No
way. No way.
Cut off.
Yeah.
And
thanks a lot.
I'm guessing it's possible that if a buddy gave it to him, that the company can track where the invite came from.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And then he's going to potentially get his buddy in trouble too.
They did say they banned his account after he did it. They found him and banned him from multiplayer.
Interesting stuff.
Be careful out there.
I have been a part of a couple of betas that I signed up for, and they always have something like this at the front that says,
hey,
this is a beta for testing for us to gather information. It's a work in progress. Don't post anything about it on YouTube or Twitter or anything like that.
Right. And they say that kind of like, hey, you get to have early access, see behind the curtain.
You get to play in our sandbox.
Right. You get to have behind the curtains. And sometimes being an alpha or beta tester is worse because you see the worst version of the game. Mm-hmm.
There's been games that I beta tested that I did not go any further with.
You wouldn't pick them up because you're like, I don't care what the finished product is.
So,
yeah. Yep.
Anyway. Yeah, interesting stuff there. All right, I think we're going to call it for the night. Thank you for making it to the end of this episode. We appreciate your download. Squink, thanks for tagging along.
Thanks for letting me.
Always good times. And before we go, big shout out to our awesome Patreon backers, patreon.com/helpdeskarcade. If you donate $6 a month or more, you get a shout out on the air, which Jaren has for us right now.
Big shout out to David Broshinsky, Aaron Faulkner, Connor Kiesel, and Wolfball Tony. They are special. They're the special ones.
Super awesome.
Jason Eatman, Mies Chonies, If It Flies, It Spies, Archie the Archivist, Be the 8-Year-Old, Michael Shane, Tony the Home Theater Geek, Travis Johnson, buy Geekshow Arcade Help Desk stickers at Pineman Graphics on Etsy. All proceeds go to Lee George K's medical bills. Jeremy, No Name, No Color, Keslow, Eric Steinman, Eric Cruz, The In-Between Rating plus 25, Matt Nelson, Harry Patch, Wesley, Adam, Stuart Lloyd. The problem with society is there are no molehills that can't be mountain climbed over. Ryan M. and Adam Hecht.
All right. Thanks, Patreon backers. You are awesome.
We love you.
And we do. Jaren, good job. You got one. You got one in the bag.
You guys weren't pressuring me this time. That's why.
We'll see if you can do it for Help Desk next week. That'll be your 2 in a row. All right, that is it. We'll see you next week. Owen, take us out.
Hey, we hope you care.